What's up people? In this video, we're going to go over this Yamaha YZF from a friend who wants to sell it. Since the motorcycle is a bit neglected because it has been sitting for a while, we're going to detail it to make it look like new, making the sale easier for him. This Yamaha is from 1999 and has 45,000 kilometers. It is normal for it to show some wear due to both age and mileage, so in this video we are going to try to detail it without spending much money, fixing a few things like the tear in the seat, making the paint shine, and giving it a clean. And yes, this video is going to be super quick. We are not going to spend much money since all we want to do is give it a facelift to make it a little more presentable. If you want to see a genuine motorcycle transformation project, a few months ago I uploaded a video on my channel showing how I transformed my 2013 CBX into the 2018 model with some extras and modifications to make it look brand new and completely changed. If you haven't seen this video, I've left the link in the description. To start the review, we are going to give to the Yamaha. The first thing we do is take it to the washing area, as we are going to clean it to remove all the dirt it has. So we take the CXA degreaser, dilute it to 15 to 20% since we are going to remove grease from the motorcycle and exterior dirt, and spray it on all the parts we want to clean, such as all the grease from the chain, the engine areas, the underside of the motorcycle, and the wheels. And we also apply it in those areas where a mosquito might be stuck, in various places where it is likely to be effective and beneficial, and we apply it on the grips of the motorcycle as well to ensure maximum coverage. This part here, whether touched with gloves or without, accumulates a lot of dirt, so we apply some degreaser and let it sit well to effectively remove the dirt. Another part that tends to get quite dirty is the motorcycle seats from riding in the summer, which makes us sweat on the 2009. When we apply the degreaser, we let it sit for a minute to take effect, and then we start using the pressure washer to remove all the dirt. Now that we have done a thorough pre-wash and removed all the residue and grease from the motorcycle, we are going to do a hand wash with pin body shampoo. We take the foam lance and spray the entire motorcycle with the shampoo, letting it sit for a minute. Then using a mitt we will manually clean the whole motorcycle to remove any dirt that may be stuck to the plastics and other parts of the bike. We already have the motorcycle clean and it looks perfect when wet. But if you notice, in the areas that are starting to dry, the motorcycle is super scratched. We are going to correct all of this. Another part that we need to fix on the motorcycle is the rider's seat, which as you can see has this small tear, and well, we will need to reupholster it. So before we start polishing the motorcycle, we disassemble the two parts of the seat, and well, I should have done this before washing the motorcycle since the entire bottom part of the seat is quite dirty. So, well, since we are at it, let's clean this part here, 2009. The first thing we need to do is remove the battery to avoid any short circuits or anything strange. Just like we cleaned the motorcycle, we take the degreaser, spray all these parts here, and then clean them with high pressure water. Now we really have it 100% clean and we can start polishing parts of the motorcycle. We are going to begin with the metal parts. I use this chrome cleaner that works quite well. I use a small pneumatic polisher, and for the polisher, I put the oldest sponge I have since it tends to break quite a bit when polishing metals. As you have seen, I have put a bit of polish on the sponge, and this is more or less similar to when we polish the sheet metal but directly on the metal. We polish the entire area until the polish disappears, and with a cloth we remove any remaining product, and as you can see it shines quite a bit. And And we also give the exhaust silencer a pass. Although it seems that there isn't much difference in the muffler area, if you look at the part that I haven't polished, it has some little spots of lime, and by polishing the other area, they have been removed. Now that we have polished the metals of the motorcycle, we will move on to the painted parts, such as the tank. To polish here, we will use the same polisher and we will use two types of sponges, two types of polish, one with high cut and one with medium cut. Since the paint on the motorcycle is a bit worn and has been there for quite some time, those two are more than enough. We will also use a 2000 grit wet sandpaper with a little water and soap to remove the deeper scratches. Here on the tank, as you can see, there is a small scratch, so we are going to apply a little water with soap and take the 2000 grit sandpaper to sand that entire area a bit to smooth out all the little scratches and level the paint. Then with the polish, it will look like new. We will do the same with all the deeper scratches on the motorcycle. You should know that this only works for scratches where the paint has not chipped. Where the paint is missing, we cannot do anything. And now we can start polishing. We put on the high cut sponge and add a little bit of high cut polish as well. And we begin polishing the tank. On the areas that we have sanded, we need to work a little more with the polisher, but we shouldn't give it too many revolutions. Polishing requires patience and should be done gradually, as applying too much pressure with the polisher can burn the paint. It's better to go slowly and have to make 2 passes than to have to sand and, well, have to make more polishing passes to remove the burn we have caused. As you can see, the difference is very noticeable. Here I even made a cut with the tape so you could see this part of the tank that was super dull. And just with one pass of the high cut polish, look at the difference from one side to the other. The polisher I am using is super cheap. I bought it in China and I think it cost me around $30 or $40. The thing is, it is pneumatic, and since it is pneumatic, we need a compressor. However, for this type of work, you don't need a 300-liter compressor. A 50-liter compressor is more than enough to operate this polisher. It is clear that polishing a car with such a small polisher is crazy, but it would be useful for touching up scratches, just like we did with the tank of the motorcycle. As you can see in the image, the tank has changed a lot compared to the rest of the motorcycle, but we still need to apply the medium fine polish, as this polish enhances the shine even more. The process of polishing with this polish is exactly the same as with the other. We put a small drop on the sponge and start polishing by area. There is a difference when polishing with this polish, and that is because since the surface is already smooth, this polish can be spread a little further, allowing us to cover larger areas than we were doing with the other polish, and it also lasts much longer. We use less polish of this type than the high cut one. And I believe it's unnecessary to say that the change in the tank is very noticeable. And just as we have done with the tank, we do the same with the rest of the plastics of the motorcycle.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice.
I'm sure you're wondering what happens to the stickers when polishing. Since I'm using an orbital polisher, I can control the temperature very well, and there is no problem with the stickers. We can polish over them. If we were to use a rotary polisher, we would definitely need to be careful because it is very likely that the stickers will get burned and we will have to remove them and put new ones on. Another part of the motorcycle that we can polish is the windshield and the front headlight. To polish the windshield, there is nothing special to do. It is polished exactly the same way as the parts of the motorcycle. We apply high cut polish. First we make a pass to remove all the deep scratches, and then we use the other polish, and as you can see, the difference is noticeable. If we remove the fairing, it would obviously polish better and look more detailed, but as I said, we don't want to complicate things or take too much time since it's just a facelift.
I'm falling fast, sitting here praying that this night's gonna last. You got it all on tap, I'm loving your vibe, always have your back.
Now that our motorcycle shines, we need to fix the front seat. And here we have a problem. The fabric I have here in the workshop, which is for motorcycle seats, shows quite a difference from the original fabric. It looks more matty, so we need to reupholster both seats, the front seat and the rear seat. Upholstering this type of seat is super easy because they have no seams. The only seam we have on the rear seat is this handle for the passenger to hold on to. But all we're going to do is remove it from here and keep the same one since it's in pretty good condition and it's not worth making another. Even if the upholstery shows a little as an independent piece, it won't look that bad. To remove the staple from the seats, there are usually special tools, but I don't have them, so we will manage with a flat screwdriver. What we are going to do is lift one part of the staple and with some pliers we will finish removing the other leg. Once we have removed the old upholstery, we will take our new fabric, place the old upholstery on top, and cut a piece, but without being stingy. We will cut it larger than the one we removed, as it is better to have extra, so that it can stretch really well, rather than cutting it too short and having to get another piece, which I would rather not waste. To start stapling the new fabric, we will place a staple in the center and then go directly to the other side, stretching the fabric very well, and we will staple it there as well. And now with the heat gun, we are going to heat the fabric well without overheating it, as we could melt it or cause it to tear. We will stretch it to the other side and find the point that needs the most tension, and we will place a staple there, keeping the fabric taut on the seat as if it were four corners. And now the only thing left to do is to remove the remaining pieces. For this, we also use the heat gun to apply heat so that the fabric molds, and we insert staples from the back. Although it may seem very complicated, I assure you that with a little patience it can be done and is super easy. These seats are reupholstered very easily. However, the fabric must be special for motorcycle seats, as it needs to be a special bioelastic, so that when we apply heat, it can stretch. If the fabric is not special, then when you sit on it, if it doesn't stretch, it feels stiffer, and the seat becomes uncomfortable. Once everything is stapled, we take the cutter and cut off all the excess. And look at how great the seat has turned out. The truth is that I like this fabric, which is more matte than the original, much more. And well, as you can see, the seat has some marks, but that's from the fabric being wrinkled. However, that will go away in a couple of days. And now that the seat is upholstered, there is quite a noticeable difference with the other one, and I think it's very ugly to leave one seat one way and the other differently. So we also upholstered the rear seat, which is actually quite a bit simpler because it has less curve than the other one and is upholstered in the same way. It's the same process but much easier because you have to stretch the fabric less, and this way both seats end up looking the same. As I mentioned, we haven't changed the strip, and well, you can notice a little that the upholstery is different, but as an independent piece, it can work like this. And now we can put the battery back in the motorcycle and install the two pieces of the seat. To finish off the makeover, we start this beast of a motorcycle, shift into first gear, and lubricate the chain before lowering it from the stand. This would be the overview we have given it up to YZF. As I mentioned before, it is a motorcycle that is going to be sold. It is not worth spending money on paint and all that, because it is money that will not be recovered when selling it. If it were for me, well, you know I would do many more things. I would completely disassemble it, touch up all the paint on the motorcycle, and put on new stickers. But as I said, all the money spent on it, since it is for selling, will not be recovered.